on lesson 15 of Character Strong. Continuing on our conversation with empathy. So, just a review because I know it's been a while. Last time we met, we tried to find common ground and talked about ways we can develop empathy with others and even help them move in closer towards the middle of our circles of care. So, remember, the closer they are to the center of our circle is the more comfortable we are empathizing with them or trying to see a situation from their perspective. And last time we also tried to discover what we share in spite of what makes us different. I asked you guys who have you learned from? Have you made a new friend and maybe in this year or in your advisory so far? I know it's difficult being in virtual, but I know that we can still find some commonalities. So just a reflection question to start. Do you think about yourself as a caring person and why or why not? So just think about that. I'll answer. I do think of myself as a caring person. I'm a teacher. I try and put myself in your guys' perspective. So I try not to give you too much work. I try to give you work time. I also know that a lot's going on. You guys are at home, probably with siblings or other people in your house. You have 7 other classes besides mine. So I would say that yes, I consider myself a caring person. So what do you guys think about yourselves? Um, More of a review is that the caring part of empathy is the action part of empathy. Remember, it's the part that you can do. So you can feel bad, you can share. Remember, sharing is that emotion, the feeling. So you can feel bad for someone and even understand their situation, which is the thinking part. Thinking is understanding, but you can still not necessarily do anything to help that person or to practice kindness. So, yes, you might feel bad and you might understand where they're coming from, but you might just be like, oh, it's not my problem and walk away. And now we're going to challenge you to actually do something about it. So, the caring is the doing. So, if you think all the way back to almost the beginning of the year, I feel like it was back in September when we made these to do and to be lists. You, if you still have yours, you can take yours out. I left mine at school and now we're at home, so I don't have mine. But just think about what words on your list relate to the idea of caring about others. I know I wrote down passionate, and I think I also wrote down kind. Like on this example, it says kind, send a text to their brother with something encouraging. I feel like that one would be about caring about someone else. And think about what have you done recently to act on it. So remember, then we made those to-do lists. So have you actually done any of those things that you said you wanted to do? So, connecting with that, have you ever known someone who said that they cared about or valued something, but their actions didn't always line up? I know I have. Family members have said that they're going to do something or they value like me or coming to a graduation or a ceremony or something, and then they don't show up. Or has that even ever been you? Have you said that you care about a friend and then you just kind of blew them off or you didn't answer their text? Maybe it was you one or two times. And if it was you, that's okay. I've been there. I forgot to answer some texts or I just like ignored someone because I didn't want to deal with it. But today, the goal is to figure out how we can close that gap a bit more between who we say we want to be and how we actually act and what our doing is. So today's character strong lesson is called the principles of care. I'm not going to have you do this. It will be on your exit ticket though, and it won't be about all four. I'll let you pick them, but I'll give you examples. So the examples that I'm going to pick for you is family/friends and school. So one way to increase the likelihood of doing something is to actually identify times where you want to care and what the action would look like. It might seem silly, but declaring something like, quote, I'm the kind of person who will pick up a piece of trash that isn't mine actually increases the chances that you will actually go through and do it. This also happens with our goals. The more you write down your goals, the more likely you are to actually do it. It signals something in the brain from our nervous system, and it signals a part of the brain that says, like, and the more you write it down and the more you write it in a way saying you're going to do it or it's happening, it signals the brain to start actually doing those things subconsciously. So I'm only going to give you two categories, but you're going to, the two that I wrote down, or you can pick one. You're going to write an if then statement. So here's an example, and I'll add it to your exit ticket today. If you notice that someone doesn't show up for 2 days at school, then you will reach out to them to see how they're doing. So I could say for one of mine, if I did like work or school because I'm your teacher, mine could be if I notice someone falling behind in class from either their work or being absent, then I will send them a Google chat or email them to see how they're doing to check in on them. That could be mine about caring. And then these are just the questions. So I'm just going to go on. I'm going to go through this. It was our last character dare. I know it's been a while for B days since I've seen you. For A days, this was just last week. But you are supposed to have chosen 3 people in your life to see if you can ask creative questions with them to discover something that you have in common. So maybe you did or maybe you didn't, but you were supposed to have reflected on this. Even if you didn't do it, you still could talk about the dare overall and if it was a good dare, what you thought about the dare. So your character dare for this week is what does it cost me? So for the week, this week, so the week of January 6th into next week, which is January 10th, 11th, it is try to complete 4 acts of caring before the next time I see you. One for each of the categories that we wrote down today. So actually, that's only 2 for you guys because I shortened it. After each action, reflect somewhere about what it costs you in terms of time, effort, and discomfort. So this reflection will be on your warm up next week. So you don't need to write it down, but you should be doing or trying to do the acts of caring. So it is important to acknowledge that giving costs us something. So when we give to people, it costs us internally something. Does every action of caring cost the same? Is the cost of the action always equal to the impact of the action? Think about what we're willing to give others as we practice caring. Just overall, a good reminder is giving support is sometimes even better for us than getting support. So remember, that was a character strong lesson that I told you about before, that when we give to others, it actually is better for us than getting help from someone else. So if we give our help or if we give support, it emotionally, physically, and mentally helps us improve our lives. So our characteristic of this week is selflessness. That's why we are giving some of our time and giving caring to others. So then our quote is, it is under the greatest adversity that there exists the greatest potential for doing good, both for oneself and others, from the Dalai Lama. So it is under the greatest adversity. So under times of adversity or hardship, that there exists the greatest potential. So the greatest potential for doing good comes in times of great adversity or hard times, both within ourselves and others. I would agree. If you guys just think over summer, maybe the election or anything, there's just been a lot of feelings going around the world lately. And I know that it's been a lot of adversity, whether you agree or disagree in any situation. And this would be the greatest potential for doing good. Whatever you believe as good and true can help yourself and others through any hard time. So I would totally agree with that quote. You can take what I said about it when you reflect, or you can put your own spin on it. So that was all about empathy today. And I hope you all have a great week until I see you next time.